Welcome to tonight's E-News. I'm Evan White, and tonight we have a very special guest with us. We have President Polk's wife. We'll also have a clip from before the Mexican-American War with an interview from a civilian from the North.
North and the South, since the accidental president, John Tyler, enlisted John C. Calhoun for support of the annexation of Texas. In fact, the South is looking to see if the North is willing to give them a fair shot for political power in Congress. They believe that political power is not equal and should be fixed with Texas. If Texas is not annexed, then the South is rumored to calculate the value of the Union.
At the same time, the Northern Whigs aren't helping the situation cool down at all. They've been charging the South for annexation tax as a pro-slavery plot to advance the South.
Then there's also James K. Polk, a possible future president, as he currently wishes to run for the election of 1844. He believes in the manifest destiny, or the idea that all land in the North American continent belongs to America.
That's right. In the United States Magazine, a Democratic Review in Foreign Governments, we're charged for blocking annexation to stop the fulfillment of our manifest destiny to overspread the continent allowed by Providence for the free development of our yearly multiplying millions. For the most part, it seems like the North and South have polar views of Texas. They both want to address these issues, but in different ways, and aren't willing to show much room for discussion. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some fights between the civilians of the North and South.
It's a possibility, but for right now, we have an interview.
Hello, and I'm here with Adriana, and she's here to share her views about the possibility of annexing Texas.
I'm glad to share my views with you all, and I hope you enjoy it.
Well, first of all, what do you think when you hear annexation of Texas?
A plot. I, along with other Northerners, see annexing of Texas as a plot from the Southness to have more slaveholding states and thus have a lot of power in the Senate.
Excuse me. What do you think the main problem is with annexing Texas?
Well, first of all, why do you think Van Buren rejected the annexing request? This is because annexation of Texas might bring about war with Mexico and thus bringing disunity in the country.
And I also heard you're a fan of Henry Clay. I want to give you what's your opinion on this quote from him. Annexation and war with Mexico are identical.
Yeah, I really agree with him. As you know, Mexico does not allow slavery, so annexing Texas means it will become a slaveholding state and thus bringing tensions, and a war might arise from that.
Well, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
And now here's an interview of Sarah Polk, wife of President James K. Polk. Welcome back to E-News. Here with me I have President Polk's very own wife, Sarah Polk. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Mighty fine, thank you. Are you doing well?
Yes, thank you. Glad you come to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Mrs. Polk, big news coming in says that Mr. President has decided on annexing Texas from Mexicans. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, he is.
Now, do you support his decision? Not as his wife, but as a gentle Southern woman?
Well, ma'am, I've been asked that question many times as of late, and my answer is always the same. I support the annexation of Texas because it will help the American people accomplish the manifest destiny of the United States to expand to absorb all of Northern America, including Canada and Mexico, and can only help our economy. As Americans, it is our natural right to be able to take over the West and prosper.
What about the Northerners saying the real purpose of the war was to spread the institution of slavery and increase the political power of the Southern states?
Well, it's our right as slaveholders to bring our property along with us where we move. It's not like Texas is above the slaveholding line. I can't see why we wouldn't be allowed to take our slaves with us after that soil has become American territory. It's our natural born right to have the western lands, and if we need to fight to have it, then I say we should.
Okay, but still, Mrs. Polk, what about the charge of anti-slavery advocates that Texas annexation is a Southern plot? Since the slaveholding states will get to add another state to their union, tipping the scales to Congress in their favor.
I say that the South deserves to have equal say in Congress as the North, and this is not just a scheme for politics. Many Southerners need this land to plant more cash crops and make more money.
Well, what about the Northern abolitionists who disagree with slavery and see it as a cruel institution? Don't you think they'll get angry that slavery will be expanded to the new territory?
Well, that seems to be their own problem. If they were the ones down here making money, they would be singing a different tune. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say slavery is prohibited, and we've already made plenty of compromises with
All right, Mrs. Polk, thank you so much for your time. You have a good one and enjoy the new land.
Thank you, Emma. It was my pleasure.
Due to the negotiation of the Oregon Treaty with Britain and the conclusion of the Mexican-American War, President Polk put into effect one of the largest territorial expansions in U.S. history. Due to conflict between the Mexican Army and the Anglo-American colonists, Texas was declared an independent state. The idea of annexation was very popular in the South, but was not very popular in the North. Many Northern abolitionists felt that the annexation of a slave state wouldn't represent the nation properly. The North also believed that Texas was only trying to annex itself to protect itself from impending abolition and emancipation. In 1845, the Republic of Texas was allowed back into the Union. This angered the Mexican army, who threatened to declare war if Texas was ever allowed back into the Union. The United States ignored the threat and carried through the motion anyway. This prompted the Mexican-American War.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
If you look at it for a little bit, I don't think she'll get into that.
He's trying his best to stop it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get so bored when I'm filming. I get so bored when I'm filming.
That seems to be their own problem. If they are the ones down there making money, they would be the same. Oh no. That's not wrong. Well, that seems to be their own